Good afternoon, everyone. Today, our group will present on the Palestinian-Israeli conflict and its impact. Over the past year, this war has escalated from Gaza Strip to other Middle Eastern countries like Iraq and Lebanon. On the Palestinian side, Hamas has suffered a major defeat. Gaza's infrastructure is in ruins, and over 41,000 people have died, most of them women and children. On the Israeli side, over 1,200 people have died, and the country faces economic losses, political turmoil, and a failed security strategy. The causes of this conflict are complex, including historical disputes, religions, and cultural tensions, and external interventions. The war has devastated both nations, causing immense suffering and disrupting social and economic stability. More alarmingly, it risks escalating into a regional war, threatening Middle Eastern stability and potentially impacting the global order. We choose this topic because it highlights a crisis affecting countless lives and raises important questions about achieving lasting peace and cooperation worldwide. Next, we will take you through the background.
For the background, Hamas is a Palestinian nationalist political organization that governs the Gaza Strip, home to over 2 million people, becoming its sole authority in 2007 after removing political opposition. Founded in 1987 by Sheikh Ahmed Yassin during an uprising against Israel control, Hamas stands for Harakat al-Muqawami al-Islamiyah, or the Islamic Resistance Movement, with its name also meaning zeal in Arabic. It emerged as a resistance movement to oppose Israel occupation and promote Palestinian self-determination. Its military wing, the East al-Din al-Qassam Brigade, leads armed and campaigns aimed at liberating historic Palestine and advancing its cause.
Hamas and other Palestinian groups believe that the land was taken from its rightful Palestinian owners. They reject Israel's right to exist and seek its destruction, citing Israel action like raids on the Al-Aqsa Mosque and settlement expansion in the West Bank as provocation. Hamas demands the release of Palestinian prisoners and an end to the Gaza blockade. Their resistance has often involved violent conflict, including the October 7, 2023 attack, which killed nearly 1,200 people. They argue Israel policy caused severe humanitarian issues for Palestinians. And next, for Israel perspective is supporter of Israel view the area as an ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, exiled by the Babylonians and Romans over 2,500 years ago. Israel has established Jewish settlement, criticized by the UN as violating international law. Public opinion within Israel on military action against Hamas varies, with 39% finding a response adequate, 34% wanting a harsher stance, and 19% believing it has gone too far, reflecting societal tension and differing views on the conflict humanitarian impact.
With the aim of contributing to sustainable peace, the study is set to explore several key objectives. The first objective centers on understanding historical, social, political, and economic factors that have shaped the conflict, with special emphasis on developments since the 1990s. The research will also delve into analyzing past peace initiatives, emphasizing grassroots efforts from both communities, and will seek to provide actionable recommendations for conflict resolution. Moreover, this initiative aims to offer new perspectives and knowledge on potential pathways to sustainable peace. Next, we'll look at the research methodology.
We collect the data from Google Form, and there are 74 respondents from 12 different countries, and there are 15 questions. The purpose was to assess awareness, opinion on solutions, and view on international intervention. And now I will pass my mic to Janan.
So these are the main highlights of our Google Form responses, which cover awareness, concern, and resolution aspects. 60.8% feel knowledgeable about the conflict, while 39.2% lacked understanding. Regarding concern, 43.2% expressed significant concern, while the average concern rating was 3.54 by 5. For the resolution, around 86.5% favored diplomatic negotiations, while 51.4% support a two-state solution. Next, we have Western and Eastern philosophy.
Western and Eastern philosophy. Western philosophy highlights the importance of logic in analyzing the Israel-Hamas conflict. Good reasoning includes self-defense and peaceful solution, while bad reasoning escalates violence. The principle of non-contradiction reveals the paradox of seeking peace through violence, demonstrating the complexity of resolving deeply rooted conflicts through rational means alone. Eastern philosophy views the Israel-Palestine conflict as an imbalance, with violence failing to support regional well-being. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza highlights the neglect of community welfare, while the philosophy promotes dialogue and mutual respect over military solutions, valuing mental and spiritual health. Next. From Sejahtera perspective, the Israel-Hamas conflicts demonstrates the dangers of short-term solution like military power. It advocates for an immediate ceasefire, dialogue, and rebuilding trust. True peace requires addressing root causes like poverty and territory dispute, focusing on collective well-being over political or military dominance.
So for the physiological and sociological impact, the physiological impact of the war include emotional trauma such as fear, anger, and anxiety. People involved or witnessing the conflict often face long-lasting mental health issues. This emotional burden affect behavior, sometimes leading to increased hate or allegiance, making peace effort challenging. Other than that, sociological impact the war include the group behavior. Both Israelis and Palestinians see themselves as part of a larger struggle for their people identity and legacy, which complicate the search of compromise. So the next slide. Metaphysical perspective, idealism, conflict conflict driven by deeply rooted belief for Israelis, the land represent biblical prophecy for Palestinians. It symbolize heritage and resistance. Kids need transforming this narrative through educational and dialogue. For religion, focus on power, resources, and sovereignty. Israel aim for security through military dominance. Hamas challenged this to assert sovereignty, emphasize negotiation on border and resources allocation. So next slide. So for theology, add a spirit layer to the conflict. Israelis and see Judaism as widely ordained. Palestine view resistance as a moral duty. Shared value like justice and compassion can foster reconciliation through interfaith dialogue. So combine all perspective, idealism transform belief, religion, practical solution, theology, spiritual reconciliation, a holistic approach, combine education, negotiation, and interfaith dialogue for sustainable peace. For ideological perspective, the Israel-Hamas conflict can be viewed through different perspectives. Modernism, postmodernism, and relativism. So modernism see the conflict as a problem that can be solved with reason and clear solution, like a two-step plan. It focuses on international agreement but may miss cultural and emotional detail. For postmodernism, highlight different perspective and question simple solution. It value listening to all sides and understanding the complex history rather than pushing for one answer. So for relativism, emphasize that both sides believe they are right based on their own experience. It promotes empathy but make it hard to find a common ground since it avoids taking a clear stance. So combining this perspective can help us better understanding the conflict. Modernism offers structure, postmodernism value different voice, and relativism promote empathy together that can lead a more balanced approach. The Israel-Hamas conflict can be viewed through different perspectives: modernism, postmodernism, and relativism.
So epistemology is the theory of knowledge. It distinguishes between justified beliefs and opinions, and it's the study of the nature, origin, and limits of human knowledge. About 39.2% of the participants feel like they still lack knowledge in the subject. And individuals probably lack knowledge. That's why they don't really dare to voice out their opinions regarding the topic, or if they could take on a peaceful resolution or not. And some of the questions are, do people supporting a side Are they driven by personal beliefs or opinions, and do they know enough to be able to decide what is right or wrong? And so next, we have decolonization. Colonization refers to the process of establishing or the occupation over a foreign territories of people. Decolonization is done doing that. About 62.2% of participants believe that the Palestine-Israel conflict is driven by religion and political agendas. But for the Palestinians, the Israel state's creation is a form of settlers' colonization, displacing indigenous populations and exploiting land. This aligns with the decolonization theories, focusing on resistance to land and resources alienation. But for the Zionists, the establishment of Israel represents a liberation from historical oppression and reclaiming of ancestral land. This complicates the decolonization narratives. And the Palestine-Israel conflict can be understood as a struggle against lingering legacies of colonization. And next, we have the outtakes.
Okay, so what's the outtake? What did we learn from all above it? It's the path towards peace between Palestine and Israel can be done and can be solved, but it requires a well balance between realism and idealism, with the participation of international diplomacy from other countries in order to stop and halt this war. As although both religions or ethnicity aren't the same, although they are literally both the same, there shall be no bloodshed, nor mass murder activities happening for the sake of peace, the future, and the whole humanity, as it is seen as a global issue to this very day from every country. And I would like to end it with a quote from the famous Albert Einstein, and it's about peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. This makes us want to solve our issue by not using force. Thank you.